Yes, I know. Because I'm working with maybe the biggest talent in Georgia for last, I don't know how many years, because it's a big respect for previous generation. But in any case, I understand I have a lot of responsible, because maybe a lot of people in Georgia, they believe in Კვარაცხელი and automatically believe in me and what I try to do everything for his developing. I don't have a problem with him. He trains very well on 100% each training session, and to be honest, a lot of people ask me about his limits, about his character, or maybe it's like typical Georgian who is not the most physically good player, sometimes lazy, sometimes more dribble, sometimes too much hinkali, but in Კვარაცხელი, in his case, very professional level. I don't have a question to him. We had a lot of expectation before this game, and when he moved to national team, I told him, Kvara, this is your chance. You have to be at the final Euro Championship. This is historical moment for all country. Georgia deserve it, and you are a very important player. And of course, I was very nervous about this situation. And when he knew about moments with Corona, he called me, cry, and because during the game I sometimes try to call him or maybe spoke with him, and of course after final whistle, cry not only people who was on the football pitch, not only supporters who sit front of TV. Yes, and Kvara also. It was very painful moment for him. My opinion, for example, it's a very like this is like for each animals you need a special box. Yes, if you put it big beer in the small box for birds, this is not good. This is the same situation for the players. If he really will be better than level of Russian Premier League and our team, of course, he have to move and play in another country and in other clubs. And for me, he has all possibility for this. But of course, everything will depend on the offer, what we will have, and how many clubs will have an interest to Kvara. I told him, you can do everything on the football pitch, and each your mistake, this is my responsible. And of course, if young players who has a lot of abilities, fantastic dribbles, a lot of strengths, yes, he doesn't have an extra responsible on the pitch, for him this is quite easy. And I understand, and I told players, because sometimes when Kvara lose the ball, everyone of course start to shouting, oh Kvara, what are you doing? Why we have to move back 70 meters all team? And I always told, shut up, this is my responsible. And if he sometimes lose the ball, this is like rules. If you try to use a lot of time dribbles, of course, sometimes you lose the ball. He doesn't speak Russian very well, and of course he doesn't understand a lot of my jokes against him because it's like only misunderstanding, but his reaction very well, and I always know what type of jokes I can use against each player or about each player, and of course this is style of our team, and almost each player, including Kvara, very positive about jokes. If we are talking about his not limits, I'm talking about weaknesses. Sometimes, because he's Georgian, of course, and he likes everything very beautiful. Yes, it's for him more important finish in the top corner when score very simple goal. And if he sometimes will play not too complicated and try to finish, and I told him, okay, Kvara, if you finish not on the top corner, if you finish only 1 meter front of a goalkeeper, this is also goal. This is allowed. This is 1-0 or 2-0. But sometimes, because This is, I think, your tradition. You like everything very beautiful. It's too much beautiful. If we're talking about art, but for you, football, this is like art. This is like I don't know, song, theater. Yes, this is special. This is not kind of sport. This is more. And Kvara sometimes he tried to be more complicated when moment needs to do it. This is only one weaknesses right now, but this is another problems for this. Of course, he will change it if he will has more experience, because he's too young, and to be honest, he play only first season and starting 11 in Russian Premier League. He has a very good sportive body, yes, but if we are talking about athletes, like antique athletes, of course, this is big difference between Kvara and athletes, yes, and Edegor he spent, but he's like robot, yes, he can walk in the gym 4 or 5 hours, very boring exercise, it's a repeat and repeat and repeat, but Kvara like carnival, yes, like holidays, yes, for him, it's we are talking about normal program for all team, Kvara of course do it. If we are talking about extra program, Kvara better try to finish or make some dribbles or walking with ball, because if some exercises or training session quite boring to him, he do it, but not extra positive about this. If we are talking about very young players, they sometimes very unpredictable, and this is all coaches talking only about one thing, yes, if you have a too young team, you never be a champion. This is not because this is bad players or maybe lazy players, this is instability players, and sometimes you can score, for example, if Kvara will score in first 5 games in each game in a row, for me it will be not surprise, because he can't do it. If he doesn't score 1 or 2 goals in all 11 games what we have in the second part, for me this is also will be not big surprise. But if we are talking about his statistics for 19 games, normal. Yes, he score 3 goals or 2 goals for 3. Okay, 2 assists and 4 penalties. Yes, it's all because for me penalty this is also like same like goal or assist. And finally he has 9 points, goal plus pass. This is normal statistics for Russian league, very difficult league. We don't score a lot of goals, but of course if we're talking about young players, it will be very, very unpredictable, and he depends from his physical condition, he depends from the injury. Against Dynamo he has a concussion, after this also he had a problem with ankle. After national team, when he came back, maybe you remember he didn't play last friendly game against away match. He sit on the bench because it was ankle, and he arrived with injury, it's a concussion, injury, COVID. This is not the best for Kvara, of course. Zuriko is still our player, and we love him, and because we thought about Zuriko and we gave him to loan on another club, because in our club maybe it will be serious competition with Kvara, and also we have a limit for foreign players, and maybe it's 100% better to play each game 90 minutes when he will play 15 or 20 minutes an hour. And situation when Kvara go out and Zuriko move in, very possibility. Yeah, I don't have a bad experience with Georgian players, to be honest. Yes, and my experience with Zuriko, Kvara, of course I looked a lot of players. I didn't work with Guram Kashi because when I arrived in Vitesse, he moved in MLS, but I spoke with him a lot of times. I think George, sometimes we are talking about football country and not football country. Of course, Georgia, one of the most football country in the world. Hinkale, of course, look at me. Of course, Hinkale.